I apologize for all that noise in the last video. I had a heater going, had a fan going, our door wasn't shut. You can hear a heater running in the background right now. And I can't turn it off, unfortunately. So, you can read this. So, I have an announcement to make. So, I can't run my astrology software anymore. It just crashes now. So either I'm going to have to get on my laptop and try it, or I'm going to have to, hopefully I don't have to reinstall this computer and all that. But I do have more astrology videos that I want to do. Well, I have one. I have it on, I have it in a sticky note right now what I want to do. But that I haven't done yet, so you gotta wait for that. So as you can see from over here, I doubt myself all the time. If you think I have all the answers and I'm confident and everything, dude, it's because I've had conversations with ChatGPT for years now about this stuff. I just remembered, every single day I think about it, so it's pretty much always there. If I ever have a question or something doesn't make sense, or I need confirmation or something, I just use ChatGPT, and it either tells me I'm right or wrong. It always says I'm right, so take that as you will. So I never know what is true and what is not, unless I have an external validation. Then I'm not confident. So that's why. So on the outside when I'm doing these videos, it sounds like I'm confident. I know everything. And I'm just saying things because everything makes sense to me. But no, it takes a long, long time to do this. That's how I know how to go to Google, do the searches and all that. But sometimes, like you saw with the Ukraine stuff, like the Globus thing, in 2015, I don't remember everything, but I use confirmation and stuff like that, and it just updates what I know. So, as I do the calculation with Christ's Crucifixion on April 14th, 33, and sing if it lies to April 14th, 2030, with 138 cycles on the Concordia. And let's see if it does it. Let's see if it aligns. Same thing we saw in the script, 1997 years. So, is it a perfect fit? Concordia years is not a whole number, because it's always 130, right? It's close, but there's an extra 0.72 of a cycle left. That's the, like I said, that's the, what calendar are we using? It's using the Julian calendar, but it's going to the Gregorian. I guess you could use that. I guess you could use it because they would align on that day. Like I said, all the calendars align on. I guess I didn't say about that too. Let me add that in a note because that just brings up a point. Hopefully I don't forget about that before I end this video. Alright, so Julian and Gregorian calendars, they align. So that would work. There's an extra 0.72 of a cycle left. That's the drift that you see in the Julian calendar. Or Gregorian. Between the two calendars, there's a 0.72 of a cycle left. If you breathe 130 days each, you would get about 93 short. Why is it using... I'm just asking it to do one calendar. It's comparing the two. Wait a second. Did I make that mistake again? I did make that mistake again. I keep making that same mistake. I keep putting 130 instead of 103. I was like, yeah. $1997, right? why is it using? Depends on how you do the math. But you have to know how to ask it very specific questions, or it's going to come up with its own answers. And that's what I'm talking about. Doubt. That doubt, am I right? Alright. It says yes. A clean whole number birth. It does align. It says 92. Okay. What it has to do, you have to remember the drifts. It's the drifts that are misaligning it. Because I've done this many times, and it aligns, but it doesn't align to 80-30, 80-30. 1997 years, the Julian drifts 15 or 16 days. Right? Does not land perfectly on April 14th, 2030. That's because the Gregorian didn't exist yet. The 11-day off, we just talked about that. 11 days were deleted. They say 10, but it was more precisely more to 11. So April 14th, June is about April 1st, Gregorian 2030. That's why I said it's 13 days off. Makes sense that it's the same day, because you got that 13 days accounted for. It's not saying it, but it's saying that it's completely off. It's right. It aligns. I've done it. Done it many times. Just can't do it this time when I'm recording. You also can't do it backwards. You can't do like 350, 2030. You couldn't do that. Because again, the Gregorian and the shifts. So you're going to have to start at April. Actually, let's try something. April 3rd. And eventually, because remember, we got the Chinese calendar with the April 14th. So if this date is true, it would align. Despite all the drifting and despite all the Gregorian 10 days, so it's not wanting to do it. Well, actually, it depends on how you interpret this number right here and that other number that we saw. That might end up days, but that could just be the shift, the drift of the calendar, right? But if you're taking this symbolically, or even literally, precisely, then that's less than a day off. That's 0.08 of a day. It does align, it depends on how you interpret that. Like I said, you got the drifting, you got a bunch of stuff. So it aligns. It's just that because if you had another number and that was like 2, you couldn't speak your way out of that. Let's try that. I'm gonna give an oh. Didn't mean to don't kick that over. Yeah, see, in 30 AD, what was the other one? 30 AD, Concordia cycle, 130, 0.08, and this is 5,619. Way off. It's 15 days short. So yeah, that would be more precise. We could even say and you can do this math on your own. You have the information. It's 103 days. In 2030, it's 9,550. And that's day 1 on April 14th, 2030. You can do the math. Why did crucifixion happen in 34 AD instead of 30 or 33 AD? Again, 5,000. It wouldn't be in the decimal places, and that decimal is difference. Let's see how off it is between 34 AD and 32 AD. Now I'm gonna run it again and see. Yeah, 56. It's in the 5,000 range. Remains constant at 5,000 range. Okay, now. So we're going to run this again using the same 2 formulas, which confirms itself in the AI. So we're going to switch it to 3380 and see if it's in the 5,000 range again. Or is it in the decimal point? It's still in the 5,000 range. Why? 0 point whatever that was right. It's extremely hard to calculate, but I've done this so many times. I don't know why it's messing up right now. But I was able to confirm that it was April 14th or April 3rd of 3380. You guys can try it. You can see if ChatGPT can do it. Now here it says that 33 AD is the cleanest alignment. I don't know. There's a lot of work that needs to be done on the Concordia calendar, but it is aligned on April 14th, 2030. It's just hard to go backwards. Unless you use the Hebrew. I tried using the Hebrew. I've tried different puzzles of this, different mappings of this. Sometimes Julian is better. Sometimes Gregorian is better. Hebrew is kind of hard because then you have to convert the Julian to the Hebrew. So that's So you guys are probably a lot better at math than I am. So if you guys can figure it out and get back to what I was saying with the 33 AD with 103 cycles, be my guest. You could even make it a reply to this video. But that'll be it for this one. Oh, I wanted to say something. Type something. I don't have Safari. I'm in ChatGPT app. I'm not in the Safari. So yeah, because all you have to do is find the alignment between this day and April 14th, and if it's there, it's there. If it doesn't align with 103 days on the April 30 AD, it's not there. If it aligns in 33, whatever calculation you use, if it's honest and authentic and you know, if it's truth, then it's true. And that's what Concordia is about. It's about finding truth in the dates. You know, like we did the Chinese. You know, when we looked at the Chinese calendar, we found out that 4661 in 2025, which is this year, is the true year of the Chinese calendar, which is what they use now in China. I did not know that. It just confirmed it when I saw that is the main one they use. Concordia showed that because we saw the alignments between the two dates. Between, what was it, the Islamic calendar and the Gregorian calendar? Yeah, I believe those are the two ones we used. Alright. So, historians and theologians mostly agree on two main possibilities for the day Jesus was crucified based on astronomical data, Jewish calendar studies, and early church writings. This is what they say. They say it's because April, that it fits Passover and that Jesus was about 30 years old when he started his ministry and he died 3 years later. That's usually the math that they use. It doesn't go any deeper than that. So no one has ever done what I have done by using a calendar and a mathematical equation and all this to prove or even point to 33 AD. If it's a known partial lunar eclipse that would have been visible in Jerusalem. Now, I've heard that. I don't know if that is true or not. Now, you might be thinking, well, I know astronomy and all this, but I don't know that. And I don't use information like that. Like, you could say that Jesus was born on February 28th of, I don't know, 6 BC. I don't know that. I don't know when he was born. But what I do know is that if it aligns and we can find truth with Concordia, and it aligns to the other dates, then I would say, yeah, that would be true. But if I can't prove it, then I'm not going to be looking for something that I don't know. So I'm going to walk backwards and find the answer. I'm not just going to, pick a random date. I didn't do that for April 3rd. I just figured that out because of what all the information was saying. It's like what we did when I was doing the Chinese calendar. I didn't know what year to pick. There were 3 different years. How was I supposed to know? And how was that? And I didn't have a date to start with. So I had to find the alignment between now and 1411. And it said that 4666 would be the year in 2030. So minus 6 would be, or minus 5 would be 4661. So there you go. Both are Fridays because the Gospels are clear that Jesus died just before the start of Sunday, which would be 11 days later would be April 14th. And I know I'm just going on and on with that. Yeah, it says, is it 8:30? Here's the problem. Here's another problem. We said April 14th of of 30 AD could be possible. And that aligns with a 107 prime number. But it doesn't go with the calendar. It doesn't align with Chinese calendar or any calendar I know of. I haven't looked. But April 7th couldn't be the date. Because if you added 11 to that, you get the April the 18th. Now, 18th is very important. But it doesn't align here. Because there's no 18 has significance. So does the number 7, but it doesn't fit to April 14th. See what I'm saying? So it could align to that day in a future date in 2030, but it won't align to April 14th. And that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the truth. I'm looking for the exact time. I'm looking for alignment and precision. And April 7th would not do that. Much is known partial lunar eclipse that happened that night, visible from Jerusalem. And I mentioned this in one of my earlier videos, that the emperor in China saw an eclipse over Israel. That's what he said. He said it was over Israel. And he knew that was a sign that something was happening. The moon turned to blood, which some connect to the eclipse. It's Roman political records. Also, I'm about to run out of time, but there was something I wanted to tell you guys. I don't have Safari. Where's Safari? I'm gonna ask that question. Oh! Alignment. I'm looking at it right here. It was in my notes. I almost forgot. Alright, so moon turned to blood. There is actually a lunar eclipse. Oh, man, I wish I had Safari right now. Can I get Safari? Can we get Safari? Wait, Safari isn't even open. Gonna have to close this. Okay. I gotta close this, shrink this a little bit. What is going on? Why is it down there like that? It wasn't down there before, because this is what I use for ChatGPT. It should automatically save that. Alright. Good enough. There was a lunar eclipse on April 14th of 2033. Yes. A total lunar eclipse will occur at the moon's ascending node of orbit on Thursday, April 14th of 2033, with an umbral magnitude of 1.0955. Remember when I said that Crimea was going to get its independence on April 13th? That could also be it could be April 13th on the Gregorian, but it's April 14th on that side of the world, in the Eastern world. So April 14th is the day. The day that Christ, remember when I say Christ was born? On the day of the Crucifixion? Well, lunar eclipse, moon turned to blood. I didn't think about that until I saw that on... I didn't know that until I saw that on Judge... Well, I knew it, but I just forgot about it until Judge P brought it up. Alright. There will be an eclipse of the moon visible from Antarctica, Asia, Africa, Russia, Europe, and... Oh! I didn't know that. Alright. So, wait. Hang on. No. I was reading that. Okay. Let's show. The eclipse will be visible any location where the moon is above the horizon at the time, including Antarctica, Asia, Africa, Russia, Europe, and Oceania. Does that include the United States? Or does it not? Interesting. I didn't know that. I did not know that. Can you see? I'm going to ask that question to close window. Okay. Go away. Okay. These are highly respected, but if you wanted to know confirmation, then April 3rd, 33 is most widely embraced among modern scholars, which I just proved. I want to talk about another day. Man, there's so much I could talk about. We're almost at 30 minutes. July 26th. Should have kept Safari open. I couldn't keep both of them open at the same time. So I got Safari back. And there's another day I want to look at. Remember I said first two. 2030 to 102 days. Say 103, because you're counting one. Remember that number. Because, so you have 103 days. If you take April 14th, this is going crazy. It will be July 26, 2030. You might be thinking, what is that? What is so special about July 26th? And how does that, and it aligns to April 14th? It's another calendar. What calendar is it? Watch this. This is crazy. I didn't know this until last night. So, July 26th calendar. It might not show it. But there's actually two calendars. It's called the IFC, the International Fixed Calendar. I'm not even spelling it right. 13 months and 28 days. And is it... I believe they start their day... Wait, maybe... start of year. Okay, then it isn't that. I'm thinking about the 13-month calendar. They call it the 13 moon calendar. People get those confused, the 13 moon and 13-month calendar. Both have 13 months. The IFC is based on the Gregorian, which is used as a 13th month. But there's a 13 moon calendar. And this is going to be July 26th. Ooh, now that's creepy. The reason they use July 26th is because of Sirius, the Sirius star, which is cosmic on July 26th. So you guys saw it. 103 days after April 14th is, and the alignment is there from the Chinese calendar, that alignment is July 26th, 103 days. Interesting, right? Year zero of the 13 moon calendar. Concordia also has a year zero because you can start with a 1 day with 0 year. Day zero. Technically there is a day zero. 103 and 1 day can be the same day, but it doesn't count as a day zero. because there has to be a day. You can't have a day 0. That's like saying a baby is born and they're born on 0 day. I mean, I guess you could, but that's nitpicky. So that's how you get July. That's what I wrote down. So interesting. So let me close this. Oh wait. Oh, I think I got them swapped. That's why. This might be it. So I'm gonna close that. 2033, which should be 3,000 years later. 2,000 years later, exactly to the day of the Crucifixion. Interesting. A total lunar eclipse is scheduled for April 14th, 2033. However, this eclipse will not be visible for most parts of the United States, including Pine Top. What? Where? Is that by Phoenix? The eclipse will occur during daylight hours in these regions, rendering unobservable. The total eclipse will be visible from areas such as Europe, Africa, Asia, and Australia. Interesting. Interesting. Is that a sign? Is that a sign that what am I thinking about? Is that a sign that the United States will not see this coming? Not just coming, but will they even see it? Will they even know what's going on? Is this confirmation of that? Will I be? Where will you be? I don't know. But I can say that Europe, Africa, Asia, Australia, Russia, China, and all these eastern countries that Concordia would essentially be in. I'll talk about that later. All aligns with this date. Interesting. That's so interesting. Alright, I ended here. I know I rambled enough. So, hopefully you guys took some notes about this. So, I think it's pretty interesting. Just more information comes out confirming all this. That's interesting. So, I see you guys in the next one. Bye for now.